Let's move on to Louisville, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, 6.5 point favorite here at home, looking to avenge a blowout loss at Louisville last year. Louisville, pretty underwhelming. They didn't play anyone to start the year. They blew out an FCS team and a bad Jacksonville State team. They did win and cover somehow against Georgia Tech, but there was some flukes in there, and it wasn't really that impressive of a performance. Notre Dame, if you can figure out Notre Dame, good for you. I mean, they blew out Purdue. They put up, I don't know, they're still scoring against Purdue. Although what Oregon State did doesn't make it look as good. That Purdue team is lost. Ryan Walters needs some pros in that secondary. Um, but Notre Dame loses at home to Northern Illinois. Then Northern Illinois loses to Buffalo. They don't look great against Miami of Ohio. I mean, when I look at this, there could be some wind here, could be some weather. If this over got touched 45.5, it got bet up today. Maybe that was a weather thing. How does this go over? Because that I like the under in this game.
Mm-hmm.
This is Louisville can't run the ball, and their top back's been hurt, but they've lost two really good running backs, and their run blocking hasn't been great. They can't really run it. So this all comes down to them passing the ball, but goes right into the strength of this Notre Dame defense. And I don't know. I don't think Lacey's going to play. Colin Lacey was one of their big acquisitions at receiver in the offseason. I think he's probably more for next week. And then they also lost another receiver to injury last week as well. So I'm not really in love with their wide receiver room. And then, you throw at Morrison and Christian Gray. I mean, quarterbacks throwing at them this year, 17 to 36, 136 yards. That's under 4 yards per attempt. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 7 PBUs. I can't see Louisville having a ton of success throwing the ball. On the other side of the ball, the strength of the Louisville defense is their front. Led by Gelati. They move him all over. They'll put him in the interior. He can rush the passer on the hell of a player. The weakness is in the back end. They lost one pro at corner. Their other top corner, Quincy Riley, was in a boot. I don't think he's going to play, but Notre Dame can't throw the ball. I mean, Riley Leonard can't throw it. So this is like Notre Dame wants to run it, but that's going right into the strength of the Louisville defense, and Louisville can't run it, need to throw it with Shook, and I like him, but that's going right into the strength of the Notre Dame defense. Leads me to an under here. What do you say?
Yeah, I have it in my notes. I want a first half under. Haven't bet it. I mean, Louisville must keep Tyler Shook clean. He's got a 7-1 big time throw to turnover worthy play rate right now. That's really good. He's got career low in mistakes right now. And his ADOT, his average depth of target, is the highest it's ever been at 11.9. So Tyler Shook is having the best season of his career from a statistics wise, but the completion rate completely dips when he gets some pressure from 75% to 47%. He's had 22, I think, passing attempts with some pressure against the defenses of Georgia Tech, Jacksonville State, and Austin Peay. Not a good sign here for what you're going to get from the edge and the interior positions from Notre Dame. Notre Dame is top 40 in pass rush right now. They did slip outside the top 50 in havoc. It's still a very quality defense. It is going to be able to get to Tyler Shook here. So, through 4 games, no defensive player has created more than 8 pressures for Notre Dame. So we'll see if they can turn that around. And Louisville is 20th in pass blocking, but I neglect to bring that up because 124th strength of schedule. We still have teams out there that have completely played absolutely nobody.
Yeah, they played nobody's, and Georgia Tech secondary is not good, and they couldn't really, it wasn't that impressive as far as their overall passing attack. And Georgia Tech is a team that you watch them against Syracuse, and they made Kyle McCord look like Peyton Manning.
If Louisville's given up pressures to those 3 teams, Georgia Tech, Jack State, and Austin Peay, then there's a problem here. Notre Dame's going to try to establish the run considering how bad the passing attack is. I mean, Riley Leonard has been beyond bad. I did not imagine it would be this bad. Through 104 passing attempts, Riley Leonard ranks 106th in on-target rate. He can't hit anything. Notre Dame is 99th in pass explosives. They can't get anything deep, and they're outside the top 100 in pass blocking. He can't get any protection. Louisville is 4th in creating pressures, but same time record. And Leonard drops from 70% to 30% completion rate when he has pressure. He's only made 6 of 20 passes with a crowded pocket here. So, I think the good news is that we know Riley Leonard's healthy from a wheels standpoint. He's already had 282 rushing yards on designed plays, but his yards after contact are way down from what he had at Duke. It's more than a full yard down. He just does not have that extra step that he had while he was at Duke. And Louisville must stop Jeremiah Love.
And
339
Louisville, by
rushing
the way,
yards.
Louisville last week against a really good rushing attack that Georgia Tech has with a mobile quarterback
Mhm.
completely shut down Georgia Tech in that aspect.
Yeah, I don't see an avenue for points here from either team. Like Notre Dame, I believe, is going to get more pressure than what they produced before because Louisville's had such a soft schedule and given up pressures. At the same time, I don't think Notre Dame's offense right now is capable of methodical drives and cashing in on scoring opportunities. And I don't understand if this number goes up because South Bend is completely in the area where a few of these the way this spins, it'll come in from the east to the west, and it easily could spin off some thunderstorms or some pretty severe weather through South Bend, the way that this thing is looking. So I don't understand why the number's going up. Or, I mean, the forecast always changes every 4 hours from the National Weather Service. So maybe South Bend got in the clear. But for me, this is a first half under. I think these teams have to feel each other out. I think Tyler Shook is going to get pressured. I think Riley Leonard is incapable of throwing. First half under for me.